Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live, talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynn@pghcitypaper.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Hey there, and welcome back. Been a while. Wonderful respite for moi. It is Tuesday, September 8th, and it occurred to both me and Susan yesterday evening that this was going to be Tuesday today. So Susan's on the line. Hello, Suze.
Good morning.
Hi. Because I think we both thought it was Monday. You know how that goes.
All signs say it is. The trash is out.
Yeah, everything says Monday, but it ain't. So, how do we start? We start with all the stuff that's happened since last I was on, which was Thursday morning. Since Thursday morning, that incredible story, totally believable, by Jeffrey Goldberg in The Atlantic about Trump in Paris disparaging veterans, dead veterans, as what? Suckers and losers, and refusing to drive to this ceremony because it was raining, and his helicopter couldn't fly, despite the fact that there were a whole bunch of other heads of state there who all went,
Did you see that David Frum wrote in The Atlantic that as Trump is disputing all of this, the silence coming out of the military speaks volumes?
Yeah, it's deafening. Two other things. In trying to say it wasn't true, he said he was so upset that he had come all that way and wasn't able to get to the ceremony, that he called Melania at home and talked to her about it.
She was there. She was standing right next to him.
Yeah, she was, but he called her at home anyway because, he's lying and he's just riffing. And it has also come to our attention that because he was stuck for about 6 hours with nothing to do at the U.S. ambassador's place, which is apparently...
Can I do it? Can I do the punchline? He looted it.
Yeah, he looted it. The ambassador's place in Paris is apparently was filled with lovely works of art, and Trump said, "I want that, I want this, I want that," and he took them all. He looted the ambassador's place.
Can we tag those things and make sure that they don't go home with him?
Well, grifter's going to grift. One can only imagine. They don't amount to much anything, as it turns out. One was a bust of Benjamin Franklin. The other was a portrait of Benjamin Franklin. And it turns out they were both, what's the word? No, well, not totally worthless. They weren't fakes. They were duplicates. They were,
they were
called?
Castings.
Whatever. They were not the originals.
Right.
They were not the originals. And in fact, I think the original of the portrait is in the National Gallery. And when he was told that, I think he had it switched out with the one he ripped off. I don't know. There's no end and there's no bottom. So that was a big story that happened then. Another big story, Susan, which is a local one, is that loathsome woman who does a radio talk show here, Wendy Bell, was taken off the air by...
Oh, right, because she said something terrible, but I can't remember what it was.
Oh, she said that snipers and park rangers should shoot on sight anybody who is defacing a monument.
Oh, good. And so now she finds herself off the air?
Yeah, astonishingly. There's another clip of her also suggesting violence. So they took her off, but it's a little wishy-washy. They didn't fire her. They said she was off the air indefinitely, but that, presupposes that she could be returned once things die down.
Right. Once the clamoring for her scalp dies down, right?
But meanwhile, she apparently, there's some Facebook page. If somebody would check it out for me, there's some Facebook page that has tens of thousands of what do you call those on Facebook? Friends? What do they call that? Followers?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Friends. That is something like make Wendy Bell go national or something like that. And a lot of people have suggested, and I have, that the one thing, she's Trump-like in that she cannot bear not getting attention, being in the spotlight,
right.
and that even though that spotlight falls on her often for outrageous things she has said and controversial things she has said, she doubles down and gets lots of publicity, negative and positive, and by doing this, by getting fired from WTAE television, also involving racist stuff, and then this, she almost does seem to be doing this on purpose to create a kind of furor that gives her this constant and even national attention.
Well, and panache with a certain group of people that she's decided are going to be in power.
Well, that's right. And she also is, I forgot what I was going to say. Damn.
That she's engineering this for her own benefit.
Well, if not, she's seeing it as an opportunity, because it was within seconds of her being knocked off the air that this effort to make her go national. I know what I was going to say. In the ensuing, Twitter storm that happened when it was announced she was off the air on Friday, one of the people who posted something was Marianne Williamson. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Marianne Williamson, who was one of the people standing on stage with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris at the, because she was running for the Democratic nomination. Marianne Williamson is tweeting about Wendy Bell being gone and saying how great, she shouldn't have a position, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that Marianne Williamson in California
noticed.
Yeah. Oh, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
Wendy has she's trying to become a right-wing martyr and apparently has done a lot of legwork toward that end. So who knows? Uh-oh.
Can you, what? Your sound is funny.
Is it to you?
Yeah, it's a little I can understand.
Damn it.
I can understand what you're saying, but it is a little distorted. And
that's not good.
No.
All right, guys.
I couldn't tell if it was me or if it was you.
No, Amy's telling me that too. What the fuck is going on? All right. Susan, you hold down the fort. I'm going to call in on my cell phone, and Amy, you'll have to let me know there are callers by emailing me. Okay?
Okay, call back soon. One of my
you can do it. I've never known you to be
okay, so this is my sister saying, here, catch this, and it's a hot coal. I have no idea.
I'll be back in less than a minute.
Hang up already.
I'm
riffing, and you're wasting your time. Goodbye. No, you're not. You're talking. Anyway, So, yes, so what I wanted to talk about anyway, before she went off on Wendy Bell, who I don't listen to, and so I don't know all that much about, was the fact, was what David Frum wrote in The Atlantic today about how absolutely nobody in the military, not the brass, not people that have worked with him, not generals that are currently working with him, not anybody in the ranks, now Gold Star parents, nobody has stood up to say, that is not the man I know. And that silence, hello, dear sister, is truly deafening. I welcome you back with open arms. You sound a whole lot better. It's your phone.
Well, it isn't, because remember, it was your phone the last time you were on, and then the next day my phone. Then it can't be the phone. It's something with it can't be. It just can't be. I don't know. Yeah. So other people are telling me that. Although some people
well,
are
your
saying
cell
it
phone
sounds okay.
leaves you sounding absolutely nowhere near as contagion spreading.
Okay.
You aren't as loud, is what I'm trying to say. But
yeah,
okay, but
it's not as whatever. It's more of a
no
problem
distortion.
In that I use my cell to see if there's callers, and now since it's pressed to my ear because I don't want to be on speaker. Could I be on speaker, do you think?
Try it.
Okay, I'm going to go on speaker and see if that's okay.
This is my sister looking for how to get the speaker button up.
Shut up. I'm on. Does that sound okay?
Yeah. Pick up your volume. That would be one of the buttons on the side of the phone.
I know where it is. It is. It's all the way up.
Okay. Just hold it close to your mouth.
Yeah, I will. Okay, is that okay, guys? Anyway, that's what we're going to do. God dang it, something's wrong. And I think it's on our end. Hey, did you see the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally? They're
beginning to drop, yeah.
Well, they're saying it could be the largest super spreader event of this entire pandemic, with as many as, what did I see? 22% of all cases in America since then could be traced to it.
See, I just think this is criminal. I really think it's criminal. I mean, I don't know at what point it stops, except for I think it stops in the White House. But the fact that this stuff has been allowed to happen is just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Where was that? South Dakota or North Dakota? Whichever state it was.
It was North Dakota.
It is now the state with the highest positivity rate in the country.
They killed their hosts, and I mean, it's just, and it wasn't like, and I feel sorry for Sturgis because they didn't have a choice. They had to prepare for it because those people were going to descend whether they said they could or not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something. So anyway, there you go. Just, and I say that because I'm in a defensive crouch right now because of all the partying and mixing that went on this last weekend. And we can, you can mark it on your calendar. 2 weeks from today, you're going to start seeing a big spike just heading into the fall. Wonderful. And that spike will be exacerbated by the fact that kids are back on campuses. And I don't know. Oh, and they're going to start playing football and all that stuff. We're going back to life as normal because, damn it, we just can't handle whatever this is.
Well, it's really, I guess everybody needs someone they know to die from this before they think it's real. I don't understand But, people like us are just in jail until there's a solution, or we decide that we're willing to die, which at this point I'm not. In 2 weeks I might be, but right.
I don't think so. And and I don't want to die either. And I'm whatever. Yeah, we're in better shape just by virtue of the fact that we can stay home. There are people who can't and have to work and have to put them. I mean, my son goes out to work every day, and he's not alone. There are a lot of people who
no, and my 2-year-old granddaughter's back in daycare.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. God help us. Okay, here's the thing. I was saying, I don't know, a month or so ago that, the New York Times, in its print edition, publishes a clue that will be on Jeopardy that evening. And then they give you the answer the next day. And the clue in yesterday's paper, I never saw the show, so I don't know the answer, but I think I do, and I want somebody to back me up on this. It's under the heading 20th Century America, and the clue is this. 10-year-old Martin Luther King Jr. sang with his church's choir at the celebrated premiere of this film. And here's what it would have to be. Yeah, and here's what it would have to be, Suze. Gone with the Wind.
I was just going to say, Gone with the Wind.
That premiered in Atlanta. Yeah,
around the time that he would have been 10.
And stop and think about the irony of that. That little black boy singing in his father's church's choir to at this large event celebrating this movie, this racist movie that, now is shown with some contextual preface if it's shown properly. Isn't that weird that I never knew that, but that has to be the answer.
Well, I'm sure it is. You want me to look it up?
No, it's got to be the answer. What else could it be? I mean, it was, how many films premiered in Atlanta, Georgia in the 30s? Because he would have been born in the early 40s, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I got that right. So, yeah.
I think, that's exactly what I was going to say. So it's the only thing that makes an interesting question anyway. Yeah, he sang at the debut of Gone with the Wind at age 9.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Well, I didn't know that. I think that's pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing.
Jesus God.
So, well, the things they used to make children do. I mean,
well, nobody would have thought anything of that.
No. He would have been excited.
Well, sure. I have some good news. This is about that whale that broke our hearts 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago. When her baby died and she swam around with it on her back.
Oh, she's got a new baby.
She just gave birth again. And they're saying the baby looks healthy, but the reality is 40% of the calves, that's what they're called, of the calves who are born into this species of whale die within a year. So even though this little baby looks good, its odds are not great. And these are called southern resident whales, although we refer to them as killer whales. Those are killer whales. I like southern resident whales better.
Yeah. Boy,
They were-
one.
Yeah, I don't know. Here's this wonderful being, this wonderful mammal carrying her dead child for 17 days in mourning, and we call them killer whales. She is one, and this little calf that was born brings the population of these whales, the southern resident whale, to 73.
Oh my God.
That is all. They were listed as endangered in 2005 when they had, how many? 88. So they continued to lose population. 2 of the other females in the pod are pregnant, so there's some hope, but not a lot. And the reason that they are declining so is that they just can't find enough to eat. And that's because it's always us. I mean, the reason is humans, they can't find enough high quality prey.
Yeah, we're overfishing there. We're overfishing their waters. Yeah.
Right. Noise. Their favorite thing to eat is salmon, and also noise pollution from ships and boats is also believed to be destroying their ability to procreate and making them ill, and also toxic, of course, pollutants in the water that make their way up through the food chain, and they ingest, and it sickens them and they die. So it's us, of course, and I don't know. They don't like us. I thought that was going to be good news. It ended badly, didn't it?
Yeah, it did end badly.
Sorry. We have 2 callers on the line. Let's hope they're a little more upbeat. Go ahead, please.
Hello, good morning. I have a sad story and a funny story.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, give us the sad one first.
Okay. Got a call from my youngest sister. She just got back from a funeral. And her ex-sister-in-law's second husband died of the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happened is the ex-sister-in-law, I don't want to get too complicated, I'm sorry, went on a family vacation.
Your ex-sister-in-law's second husband already was too much. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Okay, yeah. But anyway, the ex-sister-in-law went on a family vacation, and where it's like they're a huge family. They all went together at the beach, and one of the 20-some-year-old nephews was there. He carries the coronavirus. She gets sick. Her husband takes care of her. She gets well. Her husband gets sick and dies.
Yeah.
So,
anybody else in that family? Anyone else?
To our knowledge, no.
Wow.
To our knowledge, no. So, lesson learned, what you've been talking about the whole time. Young, healthy people are carrying this shit and being fine, and older people are dying. So it was quite sad because they just found each other. The husband who just died and his wife, they were just married like in February. They're in their 60s, and it was really, really sad. And the ironic part is that family is very conservative, and they don't believe in this so-called that it's all overblown. And when my sister went to go to the funeral, her ex-husband is waving her to the family aisle. Come on over here. And she's like, no, I don't think so, but thank you for inviting me. And that's crazy. Just crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's how it happens.
But it just proves that in the face of all this, people are still denying it. I mean, personally affected, and they're still denying it. But anyway.
Okay, what's the good news?
Okay. a joke.
I'm asking you because I know I have two other callers.
Okay. All right. Okay. My dog talks.
Your dog.
When you ask, yes. So when you ask her what's on top of a house, she says roof. What does sandpaper feel like? She says rough. And who's the greatest baseball player of all time? She says Ruth. So those were oldies but goodies.
Ruth.
Final one I made.
Oh, Ruth.
Yes.
Okay.
Ruth.
All right.
Okay.
Ruth.
And the last one I made up all my own. Who's the greatest Supreme Court justice?
Ruth.
Yeah. Good one.
Okay.
If your dog had said to that RBG, I'd really be impressed.
well, the funny thing is, after the baseball player one, that's when the talent agent throws the guy and his dog out on the street. Get out of here, you're losing. Yeah. And the dog looks at the owner and says, maybe I should have said DiMaggio.
All right, you're out.
Okay. Bye.
And we've got another caller. Go ahead, please. That's you.
Hey, Lynn.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that you girls, you ladies, aren't willing to die for the economy like that Texas governor said he would?
No, not me.
Not me either. I'm not that much of a... I'll die for my country, but not in this stupid way.
I volunteer the president.
Yeah.
Amen to that, Susan. All right, I know you got other callers, so Susan, let me ask you this question.
What?
How do you stop a bagel from rolling off your table?
How do you stop the bagel from rolling off your table? God, what's the
right?
Right?
You put locks on it.
Got it. I should have gotten that.
That's good. Did you go?
Okay. Gone? Goodbye. That was good. I really couldn't figure that out.
Okay. You put locks on it. Sure. And I think I might have another caller, if I'm doing this right. Hello?
Morning, Susan. Hi, Lynn.
Good morning.
Hey, do you want COVID? Do you want disappearing animals in the water, or do you want your voice scaring away my deer?
A bullet to the head.
What was up behind door 3?
Voices scaring my deer away. That whenever I have you on the computer, they give me an extra 10 foot of berth. I had you on this morning, and the one little fawn, he his head poked up and he started running backwards. You know,
my dog does the same thing.
But well, since we left off on animals being killed off in the water, we went on a cruise in the boat that the Norwegians had brought back too early, and a bunch of people got killed on that boat from COVID.
Yeah.
And they take a boat up the coastline of Norway, and
right.
You can ride on it, and it delivers mail and milk and things. And we thought we'd see a lot of different sea mammals while we were on this boat. And it turns out that the fish hatcheries there for the salmon are the priority and not the wild animals. And so they've disappeared. I don't know if they killed them or drove them away with loud noises, but you didn't see bears, you didn't see seals, you didn't see whales, you didn't see anything.
Wait. I gotta get a point of information. Are you telling me that you went?
Oh, this was a while back. This was.
Oh, it wasn't like last Tuesday, right?
Oh, because I thought you were saying, that boat, blah, blah, blah. I thought you were.
Yeah, this was like 3 years ago. But that's the same. It's the same company that promoted the return of the disease. And actually, in Norway, there wasn't that much to begin with. kind of surprised.
Oh.
But there were many Americans on the boat when we went 3 years ago. But anyway,
all disappointed, obviously.
yeah, it's like what happened to all the seals? You figured there'd at least be some seals. And
well, you know what you can find? I once a million years ago interviewed a guy who had somehow circumnavigated, I forget the world, in a rowboat or something. I don't know, something lunatic like that.
Sure.
And he said that he was way up there, getting close to way too north, where there's nothing, not even humans are living there. And he saw a McDonald's, quarter pounder thing float by.
Yeah. Well, it's everywhere.
That's what's there.
Our footprints are in what we think of as the wilderness.
Oh,
no doubt about it.
No.
Hey, real fast, we got into the pool of workers for the elections, and they found us. Apparently, at least in Hampton, they're not pushing everybody into one giant center like they did for the primaries. We're back to voting in our own little precincts.
Great.
And but the woman I talked to was in charge of everybody in Allegheny County that was going to be volunteering, and she said that they have at least one opening in every precinct, and I think there's like 52 of them in Allegheny County, something like that. So,
well, we ought to go to the colleges and get some college students to work the polls.
There's still a need for people, and we need more people to step up. To do this,
it sounds real easy. We're clerks, and they said there's no training at all involved. You just, after you process the first individual, all the others are the same. And
well, Lynn, tell your son to get the word out. If people want to do something that actually will help, that's something that will actually help.
No, I know. I have talked to him about it.
And if people start paying their bills by phone or the automatic cycle that you go through every 30 days for your gas bill and that the post office might not be as clogged up with the mail. If you can get rid of all the superfluous stuff, that would help too, like the ads for the Rite Aid or whatever it is, But yeah, if people wouldn't be using the mail maybe as heavily for the next couple of months, that might make a difference too.
I saw a video, and this was from a CBS News outlet, of a truck in California somewhere dumping bags and bags of mail in a parking lot.
Well,
and there was another dump in an alley that was reported, and this was undelivered mail.
Well, this is because the mailmen have to take two routes now because of the layoffs. They can't do all the work in a single day, and yeah, that's what they're doing. I've talked to people that have actually done it and been sentenced and gone to jail for that. That's a federal crime.
Yeah, I know.
And, with the layoffs, they can't complete their work, and the harder they work, the more work they get. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, yes, it does, but...
Okay, hey, thanks.
Yes, you're welcome. Enjoy the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
All right,
bye-bye. Bye.
I mean, it just does make sense. They've been working very hard at this.
Dear God. Well, you see that he is now under investigation. This is our new Postmaster General, is under investigation for, while he was the CEO of whatever company that was he headed, he pressured his employees to write checks to Republican candidates. And those that did were given bonuses that pretty much paid for their donations.
Contributions, right.
Which is that's a federal crime.
Well, it's a federal crime, and also they get taxed on their own money.
Well, the federal campaign finance law bars straw donor schemes where somebody reimburses somebody else to donate to a political campaign. And that's to get around how much you can give to a campaign. And here, listen to this damning piece of information. Campaign finance records show that over a dozen management-level employees of his company, which is called New Breed, would routinely donate to the same candidate on the same day, often writing checks for the same amount of money. In fact, one day in October of 2014, 20 mid-level and senior officials at the company wrote checks to then the Republican senator of North Carolina. And you know what? Nothing will happen. These guys just break the law left, right, and center, and nothing happens because, well, for one thing, you got an attorney general who's a crook himself. New York Times had a story today, chills your blood, that the re-emerging German neo-Nazi movement is in love with Donald Trump.
Well, duh.
Yeah. I mean, big shocker, right? Big shocker. Yeah. They love him. They love him. They, like,
let these neo-Nazi white, supremacist types fall in love with Donald Trump. Let him be their leader. I think that's a fine idea. And he'll drive them into the ground, too.
No, but you can take, our brother was saying that he was speaking to some colleague in some Scandinavian country, and she was talking about Americans' upcoming election and how terrified she was. And he said, well, yeah, we're sure as hell terrified too. She said, yes, but you have a vote. And what she was saying is the rest of the world, Europe, is looking at November 3rd and thinking, my God, America.
We are a runaway truck going down one of those hills, and we don't have a runaway truck runoff sand pile. We're just going off the edge of the cliff, and the whole world is hanging on behind us.
That's right, and they don't have a vote. So, yeah. Okay, and another, what's unsettling is this, growing indication, well, it's hard to ignore, of how many people in this country are friggin' idiots. I mean, just stupid beyond, willfully stupid. So.
Well, and the people that go into stores, who are these middle-aged white men that go into stores that have a mask policy, refuse to wear their mask, I mean, just to pick a fight with some poor store employee? Yeah,
there's a lot of horrible white people. Let's just acknowledge.
I'm really. It's just like it's awful.
I know, it's embarrassing.
I'm just walking around. I'm going to wear a sign that says, I'm 97% Ashkenazi Jew, and the Trump administration declared us a whole different race, so I'm out.
That's not funny. No, I'm not white. I'm not white. Right. So, did you see, the fires, by the way, continue to rage in California. I saw it today on somebody who was on an airplane flying out, some jet that flew out of, I'm not sure where in California. As they were gaining altitude, this person took a picture of what they saw outside their cabin window. And it was terrifying. And they said that not only was the smoke and the unbelievable smoke that they were flying through, but that you could smell it in the cabin.
Yeah. People can't go out. I mean, people can't breathe.
The latest fire, which has already burned 10,000 acres, well, since this was written, I'm sure many more, and forcing over 20,000 people to evacuate their homes, was started by some stupid fools having a gender reveal party.
And setting off an incendiary device. I mean, how?
With the grass. It's like Tinder. And they tried to put it out with water bottles and stuff. And then they did at least call 911 and said, we did this. And they've been cooperating. But what level of stupidity is going on? I mean, there was a similar thing that happened, remember, I think it was last year in Arizona, where, again, a gender reveal party started some huge conflagration there. It's happened in Florida. It's happened. See, these gender reveal parties have killed people.
I think all of these, I don't know. Why do we have to have, I know. The way I had a gender reveal party is someone said, congratulations, it's a boy.
Yeah, right. They had a baby and found out. Now, I got to tell you, there's a woman responsible for the start of this trend, and her name is Jenna Myers Karvounidis or something. She wrote on Facebook, after hearing about this latest fire, stop having these stupid parties. For the love of God, stop burning things down. She had a blog, and she started this in 2008. But all she did is she and her husband put a viral thing up, that went viral, of cutting into a cake
that was colored the right pink or blue, right?
Colored pink. And that then set this off where in America somebody always has to one up it. And here's a case. It was 116 degrees in Pasadena, California. And this idiot decided it would be a good idea to have this reveal that involved incendiary stuff.
I mean, California charges them. I mean,
Yeah, right. This woman who started the gender reveal party, she lives in California, and she posted on Facebook that her family is under a fire evacuation watch now. And listen to this. It gets more interesting. She also says this. She's not only against gender reveal parties because they kill people sometimes, but she's against them for the following reasons. That daughter, that girl who they cut into the cake to reveal what their daughter was going to be a daughter, is now, what would she be? She'd be 6 or 7 years old, and she likes to dress like a boy. And she said, I think now the whole thing is not a good idea because all it does is overemphasize one aspect of a person, that they are born appearing to be a certain sex.
Yeah, suggests that something is binary that isn't necessarily.
Yeah. So there you have it. Unbelievable.
She's right about that.
Yeah, about 21.
How naive we are about all of these things. I agree.
So,
But
there's
you know, when
that.
you think about it, I mean, all of the ways that the American economy has created economic expectations for the normal occurrence of life. So it doesn't start, it doesn't stop with spend a fortune on the baby reveal party. Then the husband now is supposed to give the wife a push present, which is supposed to involve, some expensive piece of jewelry upon the birth of the child, as if she's, oh, here's your prize, honey.
What's that? Why is it called what? A push
Present. Yes, as in
What is
pushing
called
the
push?
baby out. Pushing the baby out.
God, you know what? We are a culture that is repulsive.
Well, it is repulsive. It's just repulsive. And I mean, if the we ought to start counting the silver linings in the pandemic. Maybe the wedding industrial complex, the baby industrial complex, all of that stuff that is just created to waste your money and divert it from things that you should be spending it on, like the kids' college education or, a house.
Yeah. Okay. Can you handle one more story of life in America today?
Sure. I'm not thoroughly depressed yet.
Okay, let's do it then. This involves a woman who has a son, 13 years old, on the spectrum, and he has big issues with separation anxiety, and she had to go back to work. And so she tried to go back to work. I think this was on Friday. And he went berserk, the kid. And he was out of control, and she got scared, and she called 911.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's just say the child is now in the hospital with bullet wounds to his intestines, bladder, shoulder, and ankles. 13 years old. Was not armed. A bunch of cops came, and you have to figure there was at least two, a lot bigger than this boy who was not armed. And all they could think to do was shoot him. Shoot him. What the fuck?
What kind of? These people have to have zero training. I mean, and plus the call had to be totally incomplete. I'm sure the mother said, "I have an autistic son who's having a fit."
Well, she was hoping, yes, that they would be help
her restrain the child.
Right. And she was hoping that they would be able to allow a child having a mental health episode to, just get him under control, even if they had to, hold him down, whatever. But this underscores that police are not trained at all, apparently, to handle mental health issues. They kill mentally ill people constantly. And as this now case that we all know about.
Yeah, in New York, this day, right.
Yeah, Rochester. So one of the things that has to happen, and when people say defund the police, one of the things that should be done is money should be taken from police budgets and used to create response units that are specifically geared to dealing with mental health issues, so that both the brother whose brother is now killed in Rochester and this mother would have known to call, who knows what, 611 or 811.
Well, they don't have to know to call that. The dispatcher has to know who to send.
Yeah, and you send trained people, because the cops quite clearly only know how to friggin' shoot. Jesus, a boy.
But again, I'm just, with everything that's going on, how are these police officers continually, and it seems to me, even ramping up the number of times that they are shooting?
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing.
I mean, wouldn't you in the same situation go, I got it. My head has to be in the game. And I have to be doing everything correctly now.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't one think?
Yeah.
And it seems to be going exactly in the opposite direction.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's just amazing.
Well, now they're going to suffer the aftermath of this. At some point, the cops are going to have to understand that we people who stand behind good, responsible police officers and truly believe they exist, we don't dislike police officers. Throw the goddamn bad apples out. There are bad apples. Get yourself some goddamn training.
It's more than bad apples because it's a bad culture. It's a bad
culture. And that
it's
police union.
It's just the friggin' culture is screwed up, totally screwed up.
It's toxic.
Totally wrong. It is just outrageous. And cops immediately have an us versus them mentality, and they feel way too easily threatened. And we're threatened. I mean, they feel threatened by black people. I got news for them. Black people feel threatened by them, who are supposedly there to protect and serve them. By the way, this child and the mother who called, who must be enduring such guilt for calling the people who shot her son, are white, okay? White and unarmed. Father Joseph writes, I think you're correct on Wendy Bell. I heard her, listen to her? I heard her thank listeners for great ratings the time she beat Sean Hannity. How can she beat Sean Hannity? That's bull. I mean, that's bull. What kind of a metric was she using? He has a national audience. Oh, God. Anyway, she's had members of Trump's inner circle on the show, and I know she has a significant following among Pittsburgh expats in Florida. KDKA radio knows controversial conservative talent, in quotations, equals listeners. I suppose there are negotiations underway. We certainly haven't heard the last of Wendy Bell. Boy, do I agree with that. Of course, if Trump loses, I think her leverage will decrease. The racists will slither back under their rocks because they will lose their demagogue. That wouldn't be good for Wendy. The news cycle will return to some level of normalcy unless the media continues to be enamored with his post-presidency tirades on Twitter. Well, what do you think? You think they won't? And you think that the hate, I really disagree. I think the hate he has whipped up is not going away. I think they're not going to crawl back under a rocks. They have never bit rocks. They've never been so empowered. I mean,
that's part of the reason that we have to, as a country, gather every vote that we can find and present it in a really resounding way. This needs to be an emphatic victory, and the country as a whole needs to speak up and say, no, this is who America is, and the rest of you need to, cut this out. These are not our values. Sorry, no.
Father Joseph goes on, you bet the military is silent. It is expressly against the Uniform Code of Military Justice to disparage the commander-in-chief and even the First Lady. Compliments are welcome, no law against that. But anything Trump might see as criticism would be a very bad career decision. So military leaders are doing the submariner thing right now. They're running silent and deep. Trust me, behind closed doors is a different matter.
I'm sure.
Oh my God!
Well, that was the point of Frum's article, that their silence is deafening.
Yeah. Wow. Whatever. Just. Did you see the Republican woman who, is the QAnon one who's going to end up in Congress soon?
Yeah.
Did you see she posted a picture of herself
with the submachine gun and the three and
yeah,
and that's like a week old.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there. This is going to be a member of Congress. She put something out there where she's holding, I don't know if it's a submachine gun. It's a big, ugly-looking weapon. And next to her is Ilhan Omar and Presley. It's three women of color, okay?
In AOC.
Fellow colleagues of hers. Can you imagine going into the Congress and before you're even elected and sworn in, you post this threat of violence against three members? They have no. This is why it isn't going away. The level of
because they have created a whole different set of norms for themselves.
Yeah.
And whether we can ever get back to the real world of norms, we can't, because they aren't going to go.
It's classic. Once the cat's out of the bag, once Pandora's box has been opened, there's no getting it back. That's just the way it is. He has done such, in many ways, irreparable damage. You can even see how all of us have gotten cruder and quicker to jump on people and quicker.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, there's a lot of books coming out. Michael Cohen's book is out, and he has wonderful quotes. And I'm inclined to believe everything he says. He was there. Talk about being in the room. Michael Cohen.
Well, and why wouldn't you? You don't have to make stuff up. You don't have to exaggerate. We couldn't imagine the stuff that actually happened. All he has to do is tell the real stories.
Okay, so here's a quote from his book. This is Trump. Tell me one country run by a black person that isn't a shithole.
I remember when he said that.
No, that was different.
Well, he called them those shithole countries. So it's
right, but it's just another. But he was saying there's not that any country run by a black person is a shithole, which suggests that he was calling the United States a shithole.
Mm-hmm.
He also, did you see that he hired someone to play Obama?
Yes.
So that he could do this fake video where he's just humiliating Obama from behind, he's sitting at his desk humiliating this Obama actor. And then with the punchline, of course, saying, "You're fired." This is while he was still doing Apprentice. And as Michael Cohen says, can you imagine someone having that, any adult who would spend serious money living out a fantasy like that? He needed to do it to expel Obama. Can you imagine? and I think he's right on Obama and Putin. He says it's not about. He says it's about business deals and also his admiration for his authoritarian power. He says that he loves that Putin could take over an entire nation and run it like it was his own personal company, like it's the Trump organization. He calls him a mobster, plain and simple, and that he was part of the mob. So, just gotta say.
Well, I just picked up Carl Hyacint's new book. I decided that I wanted something that was just fun, and I bought it also in solidarity because he hasn't been able to write since his brother was killed. His brother being one of the newspapermen that was killed in that in that rampage, right?
Right.
And the book is dedicated to Rob Hyacint, but it's just a good, jolly, funny read. So, but if both to enjoy yourself and in solidarity, I highly recommend it.
Okay, I'm reading a wonderful book called Breath, which is not a novel. It's about how we breathe and what happens when we breathe. And it's just mind-blowing. I mean, this is science that is so accessible. Science writing is so accessible. And if I can leave you with one thing, it's don't breathe through your mouth. Don't ever breathe through your mouth. It is bad, 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 bad beyond belief. Okay. The COVID-19 in Allegheny County report is in for the day. Let's enjoy these numbers, because they're going back into triple digits in 2-3 weeks. I'll stake my life on that. The numbers in the last 24 hours are 37 new cases in the entire county and no new deaths. And I believe that brings it to, I think there's been 4 days in a row or 5 with no new deaths.
That's wonderful.
We're getting such wonderful numbers, but that will just spike right back up, guys, because we're all so surrounded by too many idiots. Selfish people. Stupid people. I'm sorry.
They are selfish and they are stupid, and they think that is the way they are now supposed to and are entitled to be. It's just clear.
Yeah. So did you see Trump yelling at that reporter to take his mask off?
Yeah.
Take that off.
And then there's the gun shop owner that says that you may not wear a mask because it would be too easy to rob him. To which I say, do what the dispensaries do. You hold your breath. You drop your mask. They check your ID against your driver's license. Put your mask back on and go in.
Dear God in heaven. All right. Well, that's it for now, I guess. Hunker down. God knows what will happen in the next 24 hours.
Okay. Hang in.
You too.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye, guys. And tomorrow, Ryan Dito is going to stop in to talk about the protests continuing in Pittsburgh and these videos that have emerged, which do not make the protesters look good, I would say. So let's talk about that tomorrow and the direction that some of these protests are taking. Okay? Thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.